In today's episode, what I want to talk to you about today is taking action. That's right. I want you to take action now. Okay. The time is now, my friend. You got to take action and take action now. And I want you to remember this. Anytime you take action, okay, it doesn't even matter if you're absolutely horrible when you take action. Anytime you take action, even when you're horrible, you have at least a 50% chance of success. All right. And that's why I want you to take action and take action now. Let's talk about it. Welcome to another episode of Career Strategies. My name is Rodney Hughes, Mr. 100%. Today's episode is being brought to you by The Ugly Truth About Getting Hired, how to land the job of your dreams regardless of the competition. In this book, you're going to discover the secrets to landing a top dollar job offer with ease. You're going to learn a simple step-by-step interview prep system that will help you dramatically improve your odds of landing the top dollar job offer that you deserve. If that sounds like something you're interested in learning more about, you can pick up a copy of this book today by heading over to www.theuglytruthbook.com. That's www.theuglytruthbook.com. Once again, that's www.theuglytruthbook.com. Okay, so again, what we're talking about is taking action and taking action now. Okay, you have to take action now. All right, and remember, even if you're horrible, you have at least a 50% chance of success anytime you take action. Okay, see, here's the reality. Have you ever wondered why some people don't take action? Like they want something, but they're not willing to take action to go get it, right? Maybe they want a new job and yet they won't take action to go get the new job. Maybe they want to be in a great relationship, yet they won't take action to go out and actually meet new people, right? Or why people just flat out don't take their shot in life, huh? See, some people never get around to taking the shot. And then that's why they go through their whole life compromising over and over again. See, here's the thing. If you're never going to take your shot, if you're never going to take action, then you're going to be forced to live a life of compromise. Okay. You're going to have to live a life of settling. Okay. And I don't know anybody who wants to compromise. I don't know anybody who wants to settle. Okay. But I'm here to tell you, if you don't want to compromise or if you don't want to settle, you have to take action and you have to start taking action now. Okay. There's an old saying from Alexander the Great that says, there's nothing impossible to him who will try. Let me say that again. There's nothing, that's the key word there. There's nothing impossible to him who will try. All right. See, you want more things out of your life. You want more things out of your career. You want to take things to an entirely different level. It's going to require you to take action. All right. It's going to require you to try. That's right. Try. OK, some of the most success. I'm going to tell you a secret. OK, the most successful people that you know, 9 times out of 10 have failed more than most of the people that you know. OK, it's just the reality. Failing is a part of the game. OK, especially when you're talking about your career and being successful. You have to fail in order to succeed. When you see somebody at the top of the mountain, don't think that they got there without failure, without, going through their fair share of rejection and failure. It just doesn't happen, right? But see, the difference between the average person and the person that's at the top of the mountain is that they tried and they kept trying and they kept trying and they kept trying until one day they were able to climb to the top of the mountain. All right. So in today's episode, what I want to dive kind of into is I want to share with you 5 strategies that will help you start taking more action. Okay. Because that is the missing ingredient for most people. right? Everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants to have a great career. Everybody wants to have a great life, but most people aren't taking action. They definitely aren't taking action now. So what I wanted you to do is I want you to start taking action now, right? And so that's why I'm going to share with you these 5 strategies that are going to help you start taking more action. Let's dive right into it. Number 1, you're going to hear me say this. You're probably going to hear me say this in almost every episode. Okay. This is a given. All right. Here's the reality. You have to have a clear, concise, and compelling vision. Okay. Got to have a clear, concise, and compelling vision. It is very difficult in your career or in life in general to take action when you don't know where you're going, right? You don't know what it is that you want, right? It amazes me how many people are going through life without having an idea of exactly what it is that they want, right? You got to have a clear vision, right? It needs to be clear to you exactly where it is that you're trying to go. So if you're, let's say that you are a senior level individual contributor now, and you know that one day you want to become a director, then you got to be clear on that. Okay. It has to be clear where you're trying to go. You are trying to go from an individual contributor to a director. Okay. That's the clear part. It needs to be concise. Do you notice when I say from an individual contributor to a director, that it's very concise? You're not trying to be the director, the CEO, and 100 other positions all at one time. No, you want to be a director. Okay. It's very concise. And then it needs to be compelling, and compelling is what you define it as. Okay. But when I say compelling, it needs to be something that gets you excited. Okay. Because here's the thing. If your vision is not clear, if it is not concise, and it is not compelling, you will not take the actions that are absolutely required for you to be successful. And more importantly, you definitely won't take those actions now. All right. Number 2, you need to reprogram your definition of success. All right. So if you want to start taking action now, you have to reprogram your definition of success. So what do I mean when I say this? Essentially, it boils down to looking at controllables versus outcomes. All right. So, and I'm going to tell you from my own personal experience. So I've been working in sales for well over a decade now. And one of the things that became brutally apparent to me is that for, let's say, the first half of my sales career, I was so overly focused on the outcome. So let's say that the outcome was to sell a $500,000 in business. I would be laser focused on trying to get to that number. Okay. But the problem with that is that is a outcome focus, right? And that number, that outcomes are nothing more than byproducts of something else, right? Of action that you have taken, right? So the thing is there's nothing wrong with me knowing that I want to close $500,000 in business in a year. Okay. But the thing is that there's nothing I can really do. There's no benefit in me really focusing on that outcome. Like once I know that, okay, my goal is to get to $500,000 this year. Okay, great. Now I know what that goal is. Now I have to shift my focus and I have to reprogram myself to identify, well, what are the successful activities that I must accomplish in order to hit that goal? See, now having that shift, now I'm shifting my focus to the controllables, because I can't control that outcome. I really can't, right? Because unless I'm going to be the person that's going to buy $500,000 worth of my product, then I have to deal with other people that are going to buy it, right? And I can't make other people buy my product. You understand? And furthermore, I don't know who those people are at this point when I set this target, right? So what I started to do was I started to shift my focus on, okay, I have to redefine what success is to me, right? Because if success is is the 500,000 or the outcome, then the reality is every day I wake up, no matter what it is that I do, I am going to be a failure until I hit that outcome. You see the danger in focusing on outcomes, right? So what you want to do is you want to shift your focus to controllables, right? You want to focus on, there's an old adage that says you want to control the controllables, right? So now what I do in my sales career is that I look at what actions can I take today that will move the needle? What actions can I take today that can potentially position me to have success, right? And so I identify what those things are, and then I get laser focused on accomplishing those things. So just as an example, right? It may be to make, let's say 50 marketing calls and 50 recruiting calls. If I make 50 marketing calls and 50 recruiting calls, regardless of what the outcome of those activities are, I can label that as a successful day. And the reason why I do that is because guess what? If I have enough successful days where I have generated that level of activity, right? If I label that as my idea of success, right? Where I'm focusing on those controllables, because I can control whether or not I make 50 marketing calls and 50 recruiting calls, right? I can actually control that. If I have enough successful days, what I know about selling is that the law of averages will start to work in my favor, right? I will start to compound my success if I have enough of those successful days, right? So therefore, once I shift my focus to focusing on the controllables that actually drive the actual outcomes that I'm trying to seek, now every day I have the opportunity to be successful. Okay. And because now I have the opportunity to be successful, it makes me desire to go out there into the marketplace and take action now. Okay. Because if I just focus on the outcome, then guess what? I'm at a disadvantage, because unless I've hit that number already, the reality is I'm waking up unsuccessful. Okay. And there's nothing I can do in one day to hit that goal for the most part. Okay. So I want you to focus on controllables. Identify what your controllables are and focus on those controllables and hitting those targets and taking action on those targets today. All right. So number 3, execute the 3 E's of Carpe Diem. So what does Carpe Diem stand for? Just in case you're unaware, I'm sure most people know, but Carpe Diem stands for seize the moment. All right. And I want you to execute the 3 E's of Carpe Diem. So I want you to execute the 3 E's of seizing the moment, because what you got to understand is that the time is now and you have to capitalize. Okay. If you want to be successful, you got to start taking action now. You got to start executing now. You have to start seizing the moment. So what are the 3 E's of Carpe Diem? The 3 E's of Carpe Diem stands for, number 1, embrace. Number 2, eliminate. And number 3, experiment. Okay. So here's what I want you to understand, right? You have to embrace the fact that the time is now. Okay. You don't have forever in a day, okay, to make things happen. So you have to embrace the reality that if you're going to make something happen in your life, that the time is right now. Okay. For you to start taking action. Number 2, eliminate. You have to eliminate the distractions that are stopping you from seizing the moment right now. Right. So if you know that there are actions that you need to be taking right now, and there's things that are distracting you from doing that, eliminate those distractions. And then number 3, the 3rd E, is experiment. Okay. See, I want you to start looking at taking action as from a scientific perspective. All right. I want you to look at it as you're going to take action and experiment what works and what doesn't work. See, so many people take an overly emotional mindset towards the accomplishment of a goal, and therefore that emotion triggers them to not want to take action now, right? Because they're like, oh, but what if this person says no, or what if this doesn't work out, right? Well, see, if you take a scientific perspective towards it, now you're not worried about what what if it doesn't work out? Now you can start to actually experiment and look at your action taking that you're doing right now as an experiment. Number 4, I want you to focus on the next step, not the last step. All right. So what a lot of people do is that when they're trying to, when they want to accomplish something, right? Far too often people focus on the last step of the rung, right? But see, what I want you to do is let's look at it this way. Let's take a step back for a second. So let's imagine for a second you were at an apartment complex that had multiple floors. And let's say, you know how like you walk up the stairs to get to an apartment on the second floor or whatever. Now you got all these stairs. Now let's say that there's like 15 to 20 different stairs, right? Anybody in their right mind knows that you're not going to take one step and go from step number 1 all the way to step number 20. Okay. It's like impossible for anybody to do it. Right. So logically, we know that in order to get to step 20, you got to take it one step at a time, or if not one step at a time, maybe no more than maybe 2 or 3 steps at a time. All right. But everybody knows that they're not going to go from step 1 all the way to step 20. Right. Well, when it comes to taking action, you need to look at it from that perspective as well. Right. Like if there's something that you desire, right, you need to figure out what are the steps that are required to get what it is that you desire, and then focus solely on making that first step. All right. Don't bite off more than you can chew, right? You're making success more difficult for yourself than it needs to be. And therefore that is stopping you from taking action, right? So once you know what the steps are, focus on what the very first step is and execute that. Become successful at executing that first step. And then you will eventually be able to get to the ultimate, the last step, which is ultimately success. And then the fifth thing, okay, the fifth reason why so many people typically don't take action now is because they have a mindset of scarcity. Okay. See, I want you to remember this. Taking an L, okay, a loss, you know, that's what that stands for, taking a loss, right? Taking an L is nothing more than an illusion. Okay. That's all it is. Because here's the truth about this world that we live in. Okay. And this is kind of a whole nother episode, but the reality of life for the most part is that you don't own anything in this life. Okay. See, God owns everything in your life. Okay. We are under a false illusion of ownership. Okay. And see, it's impossible for you to lose something that you do not own in the first place. Right. Right. So we're under this false illusion of ownership. Right. And the reality is this. One of the things that stops people from taking action is that they feel like they actually lose something if they don't actually accomplish what it is that they're about to take action on. Okay. And that's again, there's a fallacy in thinking that way. Okay. You can't lose. Like once you understand that you don't own anything, it will make it 10 million times easier for you to take action. Right. And by the way, once you realize that you don't own anything, then you start to look at the world completely different. And then you start to realize that, oh, wow, there's an abundance of opportunities out here. Oh, wow. If this person or this situation doesn't work out, there are so many other opportunities out here that I am guaranteed success, because I might not get this one specific opportunity or be able to engage with this one specific person, but there's a big world out here. Okay. And once you start to think more abundantly and start having that mindset of abundance, then you will realize that anything is possible. And once you start to realize that anything is possible, you will start to take more action, because you won't have that emotional connection to if that one situation doesn't work out. Right. See, it's kind of like it's kind of like accomplishing a goal, right? Like if the goal is, let's say that the goal is to make $1 million in a year, right? And let's say that person A has 10 opportunities to make $1 million in a year, and person B has 1,000,000 opportunities to make $1 million in a year. And let's imagine that both person A and person B take advantage of the first 5 opportunities, and those first 5 opportunities don't work out. Well, person number A that only had 10 opportunities is about to start stressing the hell out. Okay, that's what's going to happen. You know why? Because they have very few opportunities, or they think they have very few opportunities, right? Person B though has 1,000,000 different opportunities and realizes that there's 1,000,000 different opportunities out here. So if the first few opportunities or the first 5 opportunities don't work out, they're not worried about it because they know that there's so many more opportunities out here. The point I'm trying to make is this: realize that you are person B. Realize that you are a person that has infinite possibilities. Okay, because once you understand that, taking action now won't be difficult at all. Okay, it won't. Once you understand that you don't own anything out here, that it's impossible for you to take an L, that there's so much opportunity out here that no one person could ever seize it all, taking action will become easier and easier and easier. And because you start taking more and more action, guess what? The impossible will become possible for you. Hopefully you got great value from today's episode. And once again, this episode was brought to you by The Ugly Truth About Getting Hired: How to Land the Job of Your Dreams regardless of the competition. In this book, you're going to discover the secrets to landing a top dollar job offer with ease. You're going to learn a simple step-by-step interview prep system that will help you dramatically improve your odds of landing the top dollar job offer that you deserve. If that sounds like something you're interested in learning more about, you can pick up a copy of this book today by heading over to www.theuglytruthbook.com. That's www.theuglytruthbook.com. Once again, that's www.theuglytruthbook.com. Thanks again for checking out today's episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And always remember, the only things that pay in life are the things that you get done. And that's based on a true story.